Greetings to all in love, light, and wisdom. Today's video is going to be all about spiritual techniques and tools that have helped me ground myself spiritually back to earth. Let's just say you are here because you have fallen down the rabbit hole and you have questioned your own reality at times, asking yourself whether things are real or whether you are real. And it gets a little bit hard because you can have a mental fog and feel like you're dreaming and things don't matter. And you can go through a time in your awakening in which you feel really ungrounded and you feel spiritually like you just are floating and you really don't have a sense of anchor or a sense of purpose on earth. And only when you ground yourself spiritually can you really harness that soul purpose, that spiritual drive within you in order to really create and be a creator and achieve what you would like to achieve on earth. So let's begin. I wrote down a few things to help you that have helped me, and I know that they have worked a lot for me in my life, and I hope that they help you as well. So here are my recommendations for you for spiritual grounding techniques. Number 1. Start a spiritual journal, something that you can write in, that you can write down your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, and really express yourself as a spiritual being. It could be your diary that you have now, or it could be something that you get new and decorate it and create your intentions within it to really be a separate journal and a book that you can keep in order to allow your spiritual self to come through physically through a pen or the way that you write. That physical connection to writing and your spiritual self will start to ingrain more in your mind and in your body, and you will ground yourself spiritually when you start to write your spiritual aspirations and dreams and goals. That's really why I make a lot of memes and lots of quotes and things like that on my Instagram, because that's a way of actually infusing the spiritual knowledge that is deep within me and finding a picture, an image to go with it, and then putting words to it, and then putting it right on the phone or paper when I write it in my journal in order to really solidify that spiritual experience. Part of the problem with spirituality is that it's unseen, right? It's not tangible. You can't hold spirit, but it's within you and it's within everything around us. And so when you can get in touch with that, you can find ways of allowing that bridge between the spiritual world and the material world. And one of those ways is writing, journaling, and using your expressiveness to come forward and to really bring forth what is that your spirit really wants to express. So I highly recommend starting a spiritual journal. You can do it at night before bed. You could do it in the morning if you want, part of your gratitude and a way of starting the day. But getting into that frame of mind of connecting the physical actions of writing as well as the spiritual wisdom and aspirations within yourself, that's a really great way of grounding you so that you're not floating somewhere and feel like you're just a head, a mind floating on earth. You're in a body and you're here to experience a balance of the spirit and the material world coming together within you as one. So here's some key things that you could write in your journal. What do you want to do as a creative being on earth? What are your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that your spirit is yearning for? Give yourself a chance to express that. You could do it in song if you want, or you could do it in art. Do something that connects the physical actions with your spiritual mind, and that will really help ground you spiritually. You control every aspect of your life, so remember that. Your thoughts, your perceptions are really fuel for your personal experience. So just keep that in mind when you're writing everything down in your journal, that when you write down, it's kind of like a spell, because spell is all about spelling words and using words as a way to bring forth your intentions. So when you're writing in your journal and you're actually saying the words out loud or you're writing them down on a paper, just know that they have a lot of power. So it's a really wonderful way of actually helping to manifest what it is that you want in your reality, so that it's not just an idea that floats through and you forget about it. It's actually there on paper. You can look at it and you can remember what it is and what really inspired you in that moment to write that down during a time of most open expressiveness within you. So one of the things about dissociative disorder, and this video is not just for those that are experiencing that, but there's a lot of different types of symptoms, and there's a lot of different types of different dissociative disorders. And I went into it before a little bit, but you have derealization dissociative disorder, you have the multiple personality dissociative disorder, which actually used to be called just multiple personality. Now it's just, I think they're just calling it dissociative identity disorder. And then you have somewhere in between of those spectrums where it just gives you a sense of like depression, or just not really quite sure how to live your life, and you're living in a mental fog for a while, and you feel like you're just moving through a dream and you're just going through the motions and you don't really know why you're here, and it's really difficult to make definite decisions and you feel very confused a lot of times. So all of those are signs that you need some spiritual grounding, because even those that are having the multiple personality or the dissociative identity disorder, they still are conscious, aware beings deep down inside. It is not the mental illness that is controlling you. Remember that. You always have the power to move from these states of consciousness that you are in currently. There is always, always hope for that. You just have to stay conscious and aware of yourself within those moments and really remind yourself and get the help that you need. So of course, therapy is wonderful for you, but just keep these spiritual techniques and ideas somewhere in the back of your mind if you're experiencing anything from the dissociative disorders and you are on the spectrum of anything like that. And of course, these are just great grounding techniques that have helped me. And I have also experienced some derealization and things like that that really have caused a lot of difficulty in my life. So I hope that these do help you. And really, once you get grounded in that way, I feel that that's going to help you center yourself and understand that those alters, those different personalities that you create or that come through different experiences and traumatic events in your life, they are part of you. They are a multidimensional aspect of yourself. So when you embrace the whole you see it as not so much of as a mental illness at that time, but as something that you are just going through in the moment of time, trying to give clarity to your life and get more spiritual grounding will help you with this. One thing I like to remind myself is that we are the universe. We are experiencing ourselves subjectively through unique points of views of light. It is very much like the physics idea of light and refraction. We are in a prism consciousness, and so the light gets refracted and it gets turned around and upside down and sideways, and multiple different perspectives are shown on Earth. So just remember that you have a very valid, a very real perspective, and it is just about you being conscious and aware of yourself that helps to ground yourself spiritually into this world so that you can live a more joyful life and one that feels more like you are in control of your creating. Another thing that I really like to do is put a mantra on my mirror, an actual written down mantra, or say it daily if you want. I wrote down a mantra for you to help with anybody who is feeling spiritually ungrounded right now. This is my mantra that I would say would be the best thing for you to do at this time. Say this: I am a conscious, aware creator, now aware of a dream that I can build with others and for myself to experience. And with that, I awaken into my power. Now that's kind of long, but you could take little bits and pieces. That's just some of the inspiration that I felt that would help you, and it has helped me in the past. Consciously remind yourself that you are in control, that you are here to accept and go with the flow of the collective and what comes to you, but at the same time understand that everything in your life, you have the control of how you respond to it, how it keeps you trapped, and how you feel imprisoned by that event that happened. Terrible events can happen in lives, and they could just pass by as a fleeting moment in time. And you can take what you gain from that experience, what you learn about Earth, what you learn about yourself. It's all vital, it's all important to your growth and to your understanding. So take that, put it away somewhere deep inside you, and it will be part of you, and it will help you gain more wisdom about life in general. And that's really why we go through the pains and the sufferings and the events that cause us to dissociate or cause us to try to escape from reality. It's very important to gain perspective in the idea that you went through that in order to become stronger later. The next thing I would say would be get familiar with grounding crystals and techniques to help you. You can do grounding where you're actually on the ground of the planet and you're doing earthing or grounding where you're actually spiritually grounding yourself to Earth. And I talked a little bit about that in the connecting to your body, which is important, but you can also spiritually ground yourself that way too. There are lots of crystals to help you get in touch with that higher self, because this is really what we are all about right now with spiritual grounding. You want to be able to tap into the higher self, and there are crystals that will amplify this energy within your life when you start using them, wearing them, having them around the house. You'll start to get more of this feeling like you're just tapping into your higher self easily, and it just comes to you because they're amplifiers. Crystals are here as amplifiers, and they are tools to help us in that. So here are some of the crystals that I recommend for you in order to spiritually ground yourself. I would say amethyst. Amethyst is known as a very high vibrational crystal, and yes, it gets you in touch with your higher self. But what I have found is that amethyst gives you further wisdom to understand that you're grounding your higher self to Earth so that you have this nice balance of the material and the spiritual world. So amethyst always helps me. It represents the 7th chakra in the chakra system, being purple, that high violet vibration, that frequency of the color. It's the highest frequency in the color ranges of light spectrum. So it's definitely going to affect you when you wear it and when you have it around you. You will open up and attune to higher spiritual vibrations within yourself and within the world around you when you are connected and in tune with amethyst. The next crystal I would say that would help would be rose quartz. At this time, you need to give yourself some self-love, and you need to be open to receiving the messages coming from your higher self, trying to guide you, trying to help you further ground yourself on Earth to produce the life that you want, so that you don't think that this life is all about entrapment and imprisonment and, that the reality doesn't really matter. This is all part of your experience. So rose quartz is a loving crystal that helps bring that self-love vibration. It's the color of pink. So a very high vibration frequency that emanates from rose quartz. Wear it around you, have it around your house, hold it in your hand when you want to meditate and get grounded, spiritually connecting you to your higher self. Rose quartz will be a loving guide. The next crystal I would say would be onyx or black tourmaline. These are strong protection crystals. They have been known to be used in ancient cultures for a very long time to protect and ward you against negative energies and entities that come into your world. On one aspect, we're all one, but there's a dualism that we experience in the material world. So when you no longer want it part of your contract and you really want that to not be in your life at all, onyx and black tourmaline are wonderful to help protect you, get you in touch with higher vibrations, but also protecting you from entities that also may be wanting to manipulate you and pull you into further escapism of the mind and things like that, that can cause problems. So black tourmaline, onyx, wonderful tools to have and to use. Really gives you a spirit warrior sense, because I believe that when you're grounding yourself spiritually, when you tap into that warrior nature within you, it really helps you to say no to things that are going to unground you and are going to cause you problems in your life. So being a spirit warrior is all about grounding to earth and saying, no, I am here and I'm supposed to be here and I'm supposed to do this and this is what I want to achieve. So that type of onyx, that black tourmaline protection stone, is wonderful for grounding you into your spirit, your warrior spirit, and helping you get in touch with that, helping you open up higher vibrational channels within yourself and grounding you spiritually back to earth. The other crystal I would say is Shungite stone. So the Shungite is a balancer of the root chakra. So what we want to do now is we want to get you to understand that the crown chakra, the third eye, the higher spiritual knowledge within you and the consciousness within you is also connected to your root chakra. And actually it funnels through as this continuous loop of direct connection from earth to the sky, from earth to the sky. And so when you are opening your third eye and your crown chakra, and if you're not yet grounded, what happens is your root chakra becomes imbalanced. Your feet start wobbling and you feel like you're floating. You feel physically like you're just not really here. You're not really grounded. You're not centered. So let's get into that root chakra by bringing the Shungite stone. One of the things that the Shungite does too, which I find is very helpful, because technology actually engages the higher mind, but you're not really moving anywhere. You're on the computer. So your higher mind just is, your mind just goes on a journey, and your body is not really used. So part of the technology problem is also an ungrounding of people that's happening. And it's very easy for that to happen, because if you're doing everything, your life is online basically, then you start to feel ungrounded in your regular life, in reality, offline. So it's important just to remember that you can actually protect yourself from harmful EMF rays, which are basically the radiation energies that come from your computer and your phone. Shungite stone will do that. Oregon energy also will. I started using Oregon pyramids and having them all over my house. You can find more information about them. But those types of shields will help to ground you spiritually as well. If you're feeling ungrounded and you feel and suspect that technology might be the culprit, you might be getting a lot of like energies and things like that from your computer and your phone, and you just feel, okay, I just need to reground myself and center myself, and I haven't been in nature for a while. I really want to protect myself, but I love technology. I love being online. Then go ahead and surround yourself with Oregon energy. You could use it, put it on your laptop. You can use it around you as jewelry. There's lots of different ways that you can use it. I really like using the Oregon pyramid and just having it near my laptop, near my cable, near my anything that really emits any Wi-Fi will really help you. And root chakra grounding. So Shungite does that, but also jasper, and especially the browns and the yellows, the red jaspers, those kind of colors, carnelian, those type of crystals. If you are really needing some grounding, you need some Mother Earth type of energy that's going to reground you spiritually because you've been feeling like you're just ungrounded, then I think that jasper would be really wonderful to have as jewelry or in your home. That will amplify the root chakra energies of Mother Earth and ground you right back. So I love using those when I feel ungrounded. The next thing I really recommend is find a spiritual practice, a community, an organization, something to belong to. even if you don't belong to an organization with a bunch of people and you can't go to it, then find a path for yourself. At a time, I can tell you from personal experience, in my younger 20s, I was very spiritually ungrounded, and I was searching for ways to understand reality and feel okay with being here. And it was difficult. So what I eventually went to is Zen Buddhism. And I started picking up books about Zen Buddhists, and I started to read everything I could online and articles. And eventually I went to Buddhist temples around my city, and I sat with people and I meditated. And when you find a particular path for yourself, it instantly spiritually grounds you. There's something about belonging to something or labeling. It's like you're putting your intention to ground yourself to something other than your mind. So that really helps. And I find that whenever somebody feels ungrounded in their life, just find your spiritual path that best fits you. It could be Wicca, it could be Christianity, it could be Judaism, it could be more of a mystical approach to things like Sufism or the Kabbalah path. It's about you finding your particular path. The Elven spiritual path is going to be a great way of really infusing a lot of these elements into your essence. So I personally really enjoy now the Elven spiritual path. That gives me a sense of grounding within myself. And I hope that I can continue on teaching the Elven spirituality to people to help them if they resonate with the elves in that kind of way. But of course, that's not going to be everyone's path. But I will say that if you are suffering from spiritual ungrounding, that is telling you that you need to find some kind of direction and focus to get yourself out of your mind, into your higher consciousness, into your intuition, and to be able to ground yourself materially back on earth. Meeting other people or reading books from other ascended masters and teachers that have a lot to tell you and messages to affirm some things within yourself. Part of the problem with spiritual ungroundedness is that you feel doubtful about yourself. You need affirmations constantly, and you're always looking for the truth because you feel ungrounded. That's very much what the word is. It's about feeling like you're just kind of floating and you're really not grounded to anything. So let's get you grounded. Follow a path that you feel aligns to your soul, and the more and more you get into a routine of reading the books, joining the organization or the community, talking to people of this certain path, I think that that will be what helps you ground yourself spiritually more. If you are really looking for a real fast track way to spiritual grounding. And you may find that you might do one or a few paths. You don't have to stay in just one path. You can try as many as resonate with you. And that as the moments go and through your life you go through, you feel you want to try something new, then it's time. And you will know when it's time to move on and try something new. So that's my recommendation for spiritual grounding. Find a path that works for you, that you can walk on and feel connected to. The last thing I would say is what I demonstrated in my beginning video. Take time for yourself, either in nature or in a quiet space in your home, and allow yourself to just explore your soul. We get so busy in life and we're always doing things, and we get very physical with our experience because we're going to jobs, we're meeting people, we're partying, we're doing this, we gotta buy shoes, we gotta buy this, we gotta pay our bills, we have to do this, we need new underwear. I mean, it is the most mundane little things that our material world is surrounded by. But what are we? We're spiritual beings in a material world. So just remember that you need to take time to just remind yourself of your spiritual soul inside. And I like to do that. I like to go on the porch. I just like to listen to nature and just think about things and just explore my own inner mind and inner soul. And that really grounds me back to who I really am. Give yourself that time. Part of the problem with modern world is that Some people have become very ungrounded spiritually because they've been focused on the material world. And then the other aspect of that is becoming very ungrounded spiritually because there's no real tie or a sense of community or connection to something. And as you awaken into your higher consciousness, and then you realize, well, what do I do now? What do I do with this? And so it's about finding that balance of being both grounded spiritually and allowing yourself to float and dream and to visit the stars and to astral project and do all that, but to be able to come back down when it's time, when it's needed, and when you feel like, okay, it's time to now focus on this aspect of my life. Give yourself a chance to explore your soul. Have fun with it. Give yourself those moments in your day. They are precious. They are vital to you spiritually grounding and just remembering who you are. And what I believe spiritual grounding really is just a remembrance of your higher spirit and bringing it back to earth, bringing it down through you into the works that you do on earth. And this is about grounding the spirit to earth through you. And this is what really I feel spiritual grounding is about. It's not about only being off earth spiritually. It's about grounding that spiritual consciousness to earth. And that is what spiritual grounding really does. It grounds you back as a higher consciousness being, fully aware, ready to take charge, feeling empowered in your life to do what you have always wanted to and to experience what you want to. This is what I hope for everyone. I hope that everybody finds that these techniques and tools help them to spiritually ground themselves back. And of course, if you have any recommendations for others, we are all here to share our experiences and our journeys. Please leave your ideas in the comments to help others spiritually ground themselves. But these are the ones that have helped me the most. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon.